Welcome to the channel. One of the things that you've probably heard me talk about in the past concerning the Wrangler Rubicon JL is its ability to perform directly stock out of the factory. It's a truck that comes extremely capable, front and rear lockers, plenty of ground clearance, a really well outfitted truck with very little modification. Now, having said that, one of the weaknesses, and I think I've mentioned this in the past, is sort of the underbody protection. And that is something that I've looked into to kind of rectify. And that is a piece that I'm going to be doing some aftermarket work with. Now, one of the things I've already installed is the rear diff guard from MetalCloak, and I was really quite impressed with the build quality of that component. So I've also acquired the MetalCloak integrated Under Armor for the Wrangler Rubicon JL, and I'm gonna flip the camera around here. As you can see, this is how the pieces come to you. There's basically three pieces that are going to be installed under the truck, and they cover virtually the whole underbody from any kind of off-road damage, rocks and whatnot. Now you can see that, like all of the rest of the products, it's extremely heavy duty, thick metal. So that's what's going to be installed today. I'm going to kind of roughly show you how to do that and talk about how easy it is. Now I'm going to try to do it alone by myself, and I'm going to use all hand tools rather than any kind of air tools to see that can be done. So let's get right to it. First thing you're going to notice is they are pretty well packaged when they get delivered, coming to us with 2x4 sort of shipping containers. So I got to get them disassembled from that and start looking over the directions. The directions can be downloaded from the MetalCloak website. So according to the directions, we need basically 5 sockets and the ratchet set, and that's it. So I've got them assembled here, ready to go. All right, so much of the beginning stages of this, according to the installation instructions, are basically taking off some of the I'm going to call them the factory kind of chintzy Under Armor components, saving some of the hardware. So we're going to get underneath the vehicle now and start doing that. The instructions are, let's see, this is 7 pages long, so not too much to it. My only question at this point is, as you can see, they're out of the wrapper now. These bad boys are pretty heavy, and I'm going to see if it's indeed possible to do this solo. All right, I'm underneath the Jeep now, and you can see that the current factory skid plate here and this bar going across that protect the transfer box and the transmission up there. That's what I'm going to take out the bolts for right now, and they're going to be replaced by the new hardware. I'm gonna use my knee here to hold up this piece as I take out the last bolt. Alright, right here we are disconnecting the 3 bolts that hold the gas tank, the stock gas tank protection on the frame, and we're going to reuse this hardware. So I'm going to put this to one side to save it. All right, I've got the transfer case and the transmission factory protection laid out here in front of me. I slid out from under the truck, and you can see that pretty, you know, it's lightweight stuff. One of the things is I can say, if you're looking at this piece here that went across, that was supposedly supposed to protect it. One of the problems with it is you can see all these holes and ridges and things, and they would catch on just about everything underneath the vehicle. Now, the stock plate I have right there underneath the vehicle right now, ready to be put up. And as you can see, that's a solid piece that's covering virtually everything. And it's got some heavy-duty bolts here that are going to hold it in. And that's what I'm going to do now is raise that up and assemble that first. So there's 3 pieces that get connected underneath the vehicle. This is the first one in the middle, and then there's a gas tank skid plate and an engine skid plate that goes in front of this. So this is the one that's in the middle. So let's get to it and attach that. I'm going to get underneath it sort of with my body to prop it up against the truck, and then be able to get the bolts in from underneath. Alright, so you can kind of see that this thing is resting on me, and I'm going to get a bolt or 2 in here to hold it up. So far, all the hardware fits nice. That's making this job a lot easier. Alright, so I got the 2 in here by the frame. I'm going to get the bolt in on the side over here. But as you can kind of see, it is a huge amount of protection for virtually everything underneath here. I have done the same thing now with the motor skid plate, and that runs forward here. So there are 3 bolts like this that attach from the transfer box skid plate to the motor skid plate. So I'm attaching those 3 right here, and then we're going to be mounting the front of this plate up to the motor on the front side of the truck. There is a big nice access hole here to get to the oil drain plug and everything, so that's a nice feature as well. So I'm going to put these in, tighten them up for now, not completely tight until I get everything in place. So far I'll say that all of the hardware fits perfectly. Everything has lined up nicely, and as I mentioned earlier, it is very high quality. Alright, off camera, I got the brackets for the front of the motor skid plate loosely installed here, so now I'm going to tighten them with a 3/4 inch wrench and socket. One thing I'll tell you, in order to line them up with the bolts on the motor mounts on the frame, I had to loosen the nuts that are in the, or the bolts that are in the connection between this motor skid and the middle skid down here. So in order to kind of shimmy it sideways in order to get it to line up. So that's just one piece of advice. Just make sure when you're installing all this stuff, you don't tighten any of it down until you've got all of the bolts in. The access to these is a little tight, especially on the motor mount side. Alright, you can see as you look up there, the bracket for the motor is mounted up there to the motor mount, and the same on this side. Okay, the final piece you can see there is the big one, which goes over the fuel tank, connects at the front by the transfer box transmission skid plate, and it's going to run along the right side, passenger side of the vehicle, and protect the fuel tank. So this is the heavy one. Let's see how that goes, trying to get it on by myself. Alright, that's one bolt in, kind of holding it up. just about done here installing the MetalCloak Under Armor system. I will tell you, I think I said from the beginning what the list of tools were. Well, there's a couple that they forgot. There is a bolt here in the back. There's two brackets that hold the fuel tank mount on. One of the brackets takes an Allen wrench that is a different size than the one I've been using, so I've got to go get that and get that tightened. So that's not part of the directions, and they're a little sketchy. It took me a little while to figure out which bracket went to which mount here in the back, but I think I've got it figured out. So I just got to tighten those two brackets up, and then I will show you what it kind of looks like underneath here, all installed. All right, so that is the install of the MetalCloak Under Armor system. I've got the Jeep up on the stone wall in my backyard so we can get a better angle for the camera underneath. But it's a pretty comprehensive coverage. It certainly is far superior to what you're going to see on the stock vehicle. And you know, we're going to do some testing of it this summer. And we'll see you soon. Have a great day. Thanks for watching this video. If you like what we're doing, be sure to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the truck and tree symbol to your right. Once again, thanks and hope to see you soon.